and welcome to the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast. I'm Esther,
And I'm Melanie.
and today we're talking about meeting up face to face. Pros, cons, for it, against it. What do you think?
Well, we've all been fighting to see each other for a long time now, haven't we? And,
Yes.
Unfortunately, you couldn't make it to the event, but a few weeks back now, there was a good few of us who met up at the Kickstart Dublin event.
Dublin, yeah.
And it was really the injection of energy that I needed to get myself back out there again. So I know your movements are limited at the moment, Esther, but not forever.
No, and I can still enjoy things online as they are. A lot of people, I'm not the only one in this situation where vulnerable and can't meet up in person at the minute, like you said. But a lot of events are still running hybrid, and obviously at the minute, Melanie and I are talking about events that are interesting to us. So like marketing events and events where we can learn more about our industry. But it's not limited to that. I mean, there's a lot of craft fairs that I see opening up again now, and some of them are actually struggling to sell the table space. So a lot of people think that, oh well, everybody finds me online now, or everybody buys from me online, so why bother having a table or a space at one of these events? What would you say to people like that, to people who should go to promote their stuff, their product?
Well, do you know, it works for some people, Esther. I completely agree it does work for some people. And over the last couple of years, we've been forced to use that as the only medium to reach our audience.
Yeah.
But even then, even when we were forced to do stuff online, we didn't isolate it, many of us, to just one avenue. We didn't just use Facebook or just use Instagram. A lot of people also did online speaking. They also did, most people might not have even bothered trying TV ads or radio ads or, an article in the newspaper until the pandemic.
Yeah.
And they spread their fingers across these other platforms because they knew that social media in isolation wasn't enough.
Absolutely.
And now we've got the opportunity to go and meet people face to face again and connect on a whole different level all over again for those of you that can actually do it. And the reason why I think meeting people face to face is so crucial is that you meet them not just when they're on. A lot of people I've met over the last few years were on when I met them for the first time. And I felt like I was being sold to a lot of the time. And I feel like I'm doing all the selling when I'm talking to people, doing, Q&As and speaking at events. We both spoke at Digital Women last year, didn't we?
Yeah.
And, we're very much, you're on. And the relationships don't really function when you're on. Whereas when you
it's
meet
definitely a
people
one-way street.
off, yeah.
And we don't mean off as in having a bad day. We mean just not, in sales mode or in work mode even. I mean, like if you were to meet somebody, like I've met people even recently that have come to my door, local elections. And the conversation can get turned around to be, oh, and what do you do for a living? Well, I build websites. Oh, well, we'll need a new website for blah, blah, blah. Obviously, they'll probably never remember which door they knocked on. But it doesn't all have to be, whenever you're, like you say, off, the conversation flows that much easier. Agreed. And you don't feel like you're in the spotlight selling. And that's when building relationships is fundamental to building your business.
But it's not just that either. Just before we started recording today, I told you that I'm going to be getting a work experience person coming in, next month.
I'm very jealous about that. Yeah.
And, the great thing there is we've got the option of either her coming into my office or doing it online. And I said to you that if she comes into the office, I can show her a whole lot more of the
Hmm.
work experience involved than I would be comfortable in just giving her stuff to do remotely. And
Yeah.
so it's exactly the same with introducing your business to other people. You know, they will get a much better and rounder picture of who you are and what you do by meeting you, because you exude your business.
Yeah. Yeah. And was it last year? Has it been that long? You and I went to an in-person event when I still could,
Oh, Atomicon,
and
yeah.
Atomicon over in Newcastle last November, and we met people that we'd only met online,
Yeah.
and
Never
we
met
went
any of them, some of them
no, and we
before.
went for dinner with them. We had drinks with, and it was a totally different
Yeah.
relationship. And then you're more invested in the person personally
Mm.
than if, oh well, I chatted to them online, they say that they do this and they say they do that, whereas now it's like, oh yes, and she was saying, you're more animated about what you're saying as well. But you were also saying there, Melanie, that just before we started this recording, that it was Kickstart Dublin that has kickstarted you into looking for
Mm.
other events to travel to or attend this year, and I think there's no stopping you now.
Well, do you know, it was, I think it was the day after, and I put up a tweet and said, that was such a brilliant event. That's motivated me to want to go to other events now. And I asked online, bearing in mind who I am, these are the areas of interest I have. And I also put it in Digital Women as well, actually. I put
Yeah.
the post in Digital Women as well and said, lads, where shall I go? These are the areas of interest I have. Can people, list down events that may be of interest? And I have booked, of the 7 that were suggested, 5 of them.
Wow. What, did the other two overlap or something?
Well, some of them were slightly out of my reach, either price wise or distance.
Mm,
Um, but and a couple of them actually overlap. I would
mm,
love to go to Social Day, but I'm already booked to go to somewhere else with
yeah.
Irish Tech News, so I can't go to that. Um,
I mean,
but
you're also already booked for next March to go to Social Media Marketing World, aren't you?
yes, I'm going to Social Media Marketing World for the first time.
In San Diego. So for all our US listeners,
Oh
head
yeah,
to
you
San
got to
Diego next
meet me
March
there.
and
Meet me
meet
there.
Melanie
I
in
will be
person.
there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Um,
it's a planning though, because it's down to budgeting your time.
it is.
This is all part of your marketing
Obviously your
budget.
money as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you got to have all this part of your strategy going forward, part of your budget going forward. You've got to think of all the other things, the incidental things that you need around it. I will probably get my hair done beforehand. You've got flights, accommodation. Is there any preparation? If am I speaking, or am I doing a panel, or if I'm doing none of that, who am I going to be around? Is there anybody I
Yeah.
can deliberately target to bring onto the podcast? That sort of thing is you got to think of so many things when you go to in-person events.
Yeah, it's not just about the socializing. I mean, we do love the socializing aspect of it, but even last year with Atomicon, there was so much learning that went on. There was so much great information being shared by the speakers. And like you said, we picked up a good number of podcast guests from
We
that one
did.
event. So, it is more of a what's in it for me when you go to the events rather than what you can share to other people sometimes. Other times,
Sometimes, yeah.
yeah, other times it is, okay, this is what I'm going to tell people, and this is how I'm going to present myself, and I'm going to wear my brand colors. I'm going to wear my t-shirt that has my business name on it. All of those things you have to take into consideration, because at the end of the day, you are there to represent your business. You are there to generate more business and more income and more revenue, as well as the connections, because not everybody's going to buy from you, but they might know somebody who needs your services.
Exactly.
So, and it's more like we're getting back to the whole word of mouth marketing, which has never died, has never gone away, and people still hold in high regard that if you give a recommendation to go and work with somebody, then they're more likely to take that rather than the Google reviews online
Hmm.
from strangers. So definitely look at what's going on, look at what's in your local area if you can't afford to travel. Obviously, I have a lot of FOMO this year. I'm not allowed to go anywhere. I'm not allowed to travel, just with my current condition. That won't be forever. But a lot of the events that I would be interested in are also still hybrid and they're going to be online. So I don't have to miss out on the learning aspect, although I will be missing out on the social aspect.
But, today's all about you building a fresh appreciation of the fact that we can attend a lot of these events one way or another. And it's time we did.
Yeah.
And just keep repeating to yourself, social media, as wonderful as it is one small part of a large panel of things that you can use to promote your business. So, if nothing else, if you've not listened to any other things that we've said today, please listen to this. Social media is just a small part of a whole plethora of things and tools that you can use to get your audience to find you. And don't be afraid to go back out. I will be honest with you, I was quite nervous speaking at Kickstart for the first time in 3 years, face to face with real human beings. But do you know what? You feed off the energy of people there,
You do.
and
You do.
it was
Even
just
for
so
introverts.
nice.
Yeah.
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 Oh, it was
Even
so
for
nice.
introverts. And I know a lot of people that are listening to us are probably going, oh, but I don't like being around other people. I quite like being on my own. That's okay. You can always find other introverts. I mean, a lot of events now, and Kickstart Dublin was one of them, have Facebook groups or pop-up groups that you can start talking to the people in the group before you actually meet them face to face. And if you need to put up the post that says, I am an introvert, you will find me in the corner, there will bound to be other people that will answer and go, I'll be in the corner with you, but not talking to you because I'm also an introvert. So you will find anybody and everybody, and you will find the people that you can associate with, work with, collaborate with, buy from, sell to. Events are wonderful. And on that note, we'll leave it for here for today, guys, and we'll be back next week with more Monday Morning Marketing. Until then, bye bye.